will just introduce Yoav and Ronnie. The subject of our discussion today is motorcycle with AI and connectivity, and above all, it is safety, right? So I think that's the ingenuity of Yoav, the CEO of RiderDome and his company, and we will discuss today how floLIVE is supporting Yoav and his team to overcome the challenges of connectivity to the motorcycle industry. Together with me is also Ronnie, who is one of our founders and running the business development for the company. And I did not introduce myself, so as you can see, I'm Vice President of Sales for Asia Pacific and Africa. We will start with Yoav, who will introduce his company and the challenges that he has been facing. And then I will jump in at a certain stage to say a few words about floLIVE and our solution. And in parallel, if you have questions, feel free just to use the Q&A section. Raise those questions as we go, and at the end of the presentation, we will answer your questions. So without further ado, over to you, Yoav.
Thank you, Chen. Thank you for the nice introduction. So my name is Yoav. A little bit about myself. So in the last 14 years, I lived in Singapore. Actually, it was my home. I was permanent resident there, actually still. Before that, I also used to live in Japan and UK, traveled quite a lot. But one thing actually was in common wherever I lived, I'm riding motorcycles. I'm always on a motorcycle. Now, about 3 years ago, I came across a very challenging issue to solve. And I am a serial entrepreneur, created several startups in the past, or created basically ideas that grew into meaningful value to customers, which eventually exited those startups. So when I found this huge problem that I'll share you in a little bit, I could not sleep at night. I thought, yeah, we must use technology to solve it. Now, as an entrepreneur, when you find a problem, you're really keen to solve it, and you can't sleep at night. And every startup basically starts with a problem to solve. Otherwise, it's like developing a key and looking for the door. So the problem that actually I found to solve that I met is motorcycle safety. Now, my story starts when I was traveling and was about to take a turn to my home, and my daughters were waiting for me outside waving. I was about to turn and there was nothing in the mirror, but I did not move my head all the way. So I could not see the car that was in my blind spot, and it almost hit me. And then I thought, how come there is no technology like Mobileye or like ADAS, driving assistant, that exists in cars, basically to keep the rider, the motorcycle rider, safe? I started to explore the market, and what I saw about the motorcycle market is it's a few very interesting things. One, it's a market that grows very, very fast. So today there are over 600 million vehicles, almost 600 million motorcycles out there, and they are growing 6% year by year. It's much faster than, for example, the car industry, the growth of the car industry. One of the things that actually create this market, or that help grow this market, is all the fleets. Fleets, I'm talking about, for example, delivery. And everyone, of course, wants his AliExpress or Amazon package to be delivered fast to his home. Food delivery, of course, logistics, and also the rental industry. If you live in streets mainly in Europe and in Asia, you can see line of motorcycles that you can hire with the mobile app. Take your app, you hire the electric motorcycle, you do what you need, and that's it. So all what related to the shared economy with electric motorcycles. Also, what we see is fast growth in emergency services. For example, in Israel here, we have a company called Ichud Hatzala, which have the largest fleet of motorcycle in Israel. They are the first responders to come in case of emergency. Now, what is the problem with those fleets? Those fleets, not only that there is a problem for them of the safety of the riders, the amount of accident is huge. Actually, in every given moment, 10% of the fleet actually is not active due to accidents. The second problem that those fleets have is that they have lack of visibility what's going on with the riders. For example, they cannot see a video in case of an accident, or they cannot take preventive measures of riders that are a bit wild compared to riders that are safe, and much more. And here, this is the problem that we want to solve with RiderDom. Now, the strange thing that happened in the motorcycle world is that ADAS, or the driving assistant, was proven to be very effective in cars. Actually, it dropped car crashes in 30%. I'm sure that the car that you are driving today have some kind of driving assistant. They give you a blind spot alert, collision alerts, etc. Now, the surprising thing is that motorcycles were left behind. So this is something that we thought we must solve. So how come a technology that was proven to be effective in cars did not actually came to the motorcycle world, while motorcycle riding is much more dangerous than driving a car? Actually, it's 30 times more likely to die in motorcycle accidents compared to cars. So not 30%, 30 times more. And here, this is what we want to solve. Now, when we dived in deeper to the motorcycle fleet's pain, we understood that there are several issues that also create financial burden on our fleets. For example, accidents lead to direct and indirect losses, high insurance expenses, for example, lack of visibility of risky riders, so they can't take the preventive measure that I mentioned. And also, there is another thing. Regulators now, cities and government, start to push those fleets to adopt safety technology. You may know that if you're running a fleet of, for example, buses or trucks, you must, by the regulator, use some kind of technology measures or some kind of safety technology measures. But motorcycles, again, were left behind. So everyone can start his own motorcycle fleet. If it's pizza delivery or last mile delivery, run the fleet and use no technology, while those riders are in the highest risk in the world. Actually, when I was speaking with the Singaporean WHS who work on health and safety, they told me that motorcycle riders that tried to make their living, like delivery riders, they are in the most dangerous job on earth, because it's the only job that's not if you encounter dangerous situation, it's when. So with this is where we understood there is a need for technology to help those riders. And here come RiderDom, our company. So it's the world first complete safety-centric solution for motorcycle fleets. Now, of course, the motorcycle world, it's not only fleets. We have the fleets, we have the OEMs, or the manufacturers, and we have the aftermarket. When you buy a motorcycle and you want to add on a safety system. But as a startup, the starting point is crucial. And this is where we decided to start with the fleets. The first design partner that we have was Singapore Post. It's quite large fleets. They have 700 motorcycles. And we did a very successful pilot with them. They liked what they saw. It dropped crashes, it dropped accidents, gave the fleet visibility on the riders. And now we are in deployment on the fleet. We have other interesting customers, such as Municipal of Barcelona. Barcelona, for example, it's like any other city. For example, in the cities in Asia, such as Tokyo, Seoul, Singapore, Taipei, they have so many motorcycles, and the cities, they love motorcycles. And why? Because they don't like cars. But the challenge is, again, the accidents. So Barcelona Municipal wanted or sent a request to explore technology that can help reduce the accident in their city. And we are very happy and proud that they chose us and our system now installed in motorcycles in Barcelona. We have other now customers and pilots such as Grab in Malaysia and Coca-Cola in Indonesia and more. Now, let's learn a little bit about the technology and how it works and the challenges we had in the way and how actually floLIVE also helped us during this challenge. So let's see a short video that explains about the solution.
These alert systems are pretty standard in most cars nowadays. However, over 300 million motorcycle riders have been forgotten, and they are at a much greater risk. They are over 13 times more likely to be involved in a fatal accident than any car driver. This is where RiderDome comes into play. It is a revolutionary rider collision alert system that can be fitted on any motorcycle within minutes. RiderDome is an AI-based collision alert system, providing riders with real-time alerts about a variety of safety risks on the road to prevent accidents before they happen. The system uses front and back cameras, sensors, and proprietary algorithms to assess potential safety risks. RiderDome also offers a safety data analytics platform, which gives real-time visibility of the rider's driving habits and generates a safety profile for every rider. The platform can integrate with commercial fleet management solutions, and the data can also be used by insurance companies and regulators. The system comes with an app that monitors the ride, provides analytics, and will automatically call emergency services in the case of an accident. While driver assistance has been the norm in cars for some time, motorbikes have been neglected. RiderDome is now ensuring that riders are safer through tech. So join us and help make motorbikes safer.
So you could also enjoy the beautiful scenery of Singapore during the video. Now you probably ask yourself, okay, Yoav, but how does it work? So you use Vision AI. Vision AI, which means we use cameras. We put a camera in the front and in the back of the motorcycle. We are processing the image, and then we are triggering the real-time alert for the rider. Now, I've been often asked, hey, but Yoav, what's the difference between the ADAS for cars and motorcycles? Is it the same? Couldn't you just take technology that was developed for cars and put it on a motorcycle? So the answer is that motorcycle and cars are so different in the way that we behave in the road, which the only way to explain it is like comparing airplane to helicopter. While they both fly, they behave completely different. And this is the reason we had to develop all the AI algorithm from scratch for the unique behavior of a motorcycle. Another challenge that we had was how to provide the alert to the rider. Because after all, the rider needs to do one thing, is to ride and look at the road. You do not need any distraction. So this is where we involved actually people from the aerospace industry to create kind of this man-machine interaction and provide the riders with alerts with alert system that we mounted on the mirror stem. You can see on the left and right those alert system. For example, the left you can see a blind spot alert on where the orange light as well as high pitch beep, or the collision alert on the right side. Now, what I showed you until now is just part of the system, which is the real-time alert for the rider. The other part is actually sending all the information to the fleet monitoring platform. And this is where we had a very challenging situation related to connectivity. And this is where actually floLIVE helped us a lot. And I also explain a little bit later how actually they helped us. Because what we are doing, we are sending all the information to a fleet monitoring platform. And this information include telematics, include videos, include a lot of real-time data, which is necessary eventually to analyze the rider behavior and overall the fleet behavior. Let's see a short video about this platform.
Hello there. I'm excited to share a brief video with you, explaining why motorcycle fleets choose RiderDome, a solution that could be relevant to you. Riders often regard RiderDome as their guardian angel, providing critical alerts such as collision warnings and blind spot notifications, proven to effectively reduce dangerous situations. The system transmits vital information from the bikes to a centralized monitoring platform, an indispensable tool for fleet managers. Fleet managers gain real-time insights into the location of bikes and trip statuses. The ability to remotely retrieve videos from bike cameras proves invaluable for handling insurance claims, resulting in substantial cost savings. Utilizing advanced AI algorithms, RiderDome analyzes riders' habits, identifying anomalies or foreseeing riders who may encounter hazardous situations, recognizing and rewarding safe riders. Fleets use it to facilitate riders' safety competitions. Fleet managers can assess the fleet's safety performance through live visibility and reports that can be shared with colleagues and management. RiderDome even provides a heat map highlighting dangerous areas within the city for riding, offering proactive safety measures. Additionally, some fleets manage their bike inventory and maintenance processes within the RiderDome system, saving the need for a separate system. If RiderDome aligns with your needs, we'd love to hear from you.
So as you can see, we're sending all the information to the fleet monitoring, and this is a challenging thing. Now, so far, the system was proven to be quite effective, or I would say even very effective. So a short time after a rider start to ride on with RiderDome system, he change or adjust his riding behavior. The same as, for example, the first time that you drove a car with a driving assistant. When you got closer to car, you got this annoying beeps, the collision alert or safe distance alert, and subconsciously, you became a safer driver. You took this extra meter or two which saved you from collisions. The same happens with motorcycles. But the main difference is that crashes in the car usually just create kind of a bump in the chassis, but motorcycle accidents can cost you a leg, an arm, or even your life. The business model that we adopted is SaaS, but we call it safety as a service. So the fleet actually pay a one-time fee and then a subscription for the overall service. Now, we had several connectivity issues in order to actually facilitate the service that we provide. And here, this is where the partnership with floLIVE was very, very effective for us. But I will start first of all with the challenges that we had to overcome. First, logistical challenge. Before floLIVE, we had to manage multiple SKUs, which means we had in each country they operate, we need to have the local SIM cards to facilitate the connectivity. This is a real headache. The second thing is lack of visibility. We did not have a centralized system actually that will give us indication the exact data that each rider and each fleet consume. So we were kind of in the dark in how we planned the pricing for our customers. Another problem that we had is multiple integration, because in each country we had to connect with local mobile operator and adjust ourselves to a new system or integrate our system to a new basically connectivity infrastructure. Again, headache. Also, what we had is that each vendor that we approached wanted a long-term contract. And this created kind of a headache. And occasionally we just want to run a pilot for a month or two and not have without the need to be tied to a long-term contract. And lastly, this also allows us to have flexible business model with our customers. And why? Because we easily can measure the exact amount of data each fleet consumes. So it allows us basically to charge them according to what they consume and not to what we think they consume. This was a big advantage for us. So I will hand over to Chen to share more about how floLIVE basically empowered our journey. Over to you, Chen.
Hey, thank you, Yoav. So a little bit about floLIVE. floLIVE is a multinational company based in the UK. As you can see, we have 160 employees with regional offices in Europe, as I mentioned, in the UK, in US, in China, and we are now growing also into Southeast Asia. We have integrated with over 40 mobile network operators globally to enable our service, which means that we are not just a global provider, but we are also a local provider, and I will explain how that works. We are backed by large financial institutions, including Qualcomm, who is also our development partner and investor, Dell, and two other very large global venture capitals. One is UK-based and one is US-based. What we like about working with RiderDome, and before I jump into our solution, is they come with a challenge that cannot be answered by existing or competing technologies or vendors. And that's why I think this the essence of our webinar here today is how we team up together in order to take our technology to the next step and provide a solution that helps Yoav and his team to provide solutions for thousands of people, or you can say hundreds of companies globally. And how do we do that? Okay, so we have four major components in our solution. One of them is a core network, which means 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G network that we have developed. It's our own technology. We develop everything from A to Z, and that means that we can integrate with any core network of our partner MNO at a very intrinsic level. We can get their IMSIs, and we can take full control over the IMSI that we get from our partner networks. Then we have rating and billing, which, as you have mentioned, allows him and his customer to control the cost and also to control the prices that they charge from the end user. We do have a SIM management capability, which I will elaborate later on and explain how it adds value to Yoav and the companies like his. But as the essence, it means that he doesn't need to care about connectivity, about SIMs, about local networks, about moving from one country to the other. We take care of everything. Everything is done behind the scene. Him and his team, they don't need to care about SIM management. For him, it's just one SKU, as you have mentioned. And last but not least, that's the connectivity management, which I will elaborate on soon. All those technologies are developed by floLIVE. So we control everything. It means that not only we own the technology, but we own the support. Whenever anything happens, and things do happen, and you might want to pick up the phone or open a ticket, we will resolve everything from A to Z because it's all under our responsibility. We don't send you over to a third party. We are not reliant on third party. We are only reliant on our own resource to resolve issues or to provide answers. Technology is very modern. It's all running in real time. Even billing is done in real time. It's cloud native, running on Amazon cloud. It's all using microservices and API driven, which means that we are open, so everyone can connect to our API and utilize it to his own means. Let's see how does it work. Okay, how does the floLIVE solution works? Those stacks that you see on the geographies are examples of our core network. Okay, these are carrier-grade core networks that we have in many locations globally, connecting to mobile network operators. We are getting their SIM card or IMSI. Okay, so we can use their IMSIs in our network globally. Some of those MNOs are also our customers. They trust us, global customers that I will mention. So they trust us to provide the IoT solution to their own subscribers. So when they work with us, they enjoy 3 times. First, the MNO can provide service to their own subscriber. Secondly, they can provide us their IMSI, and we generate traffic for them with companies like RiderDome. Third one, they join our global network of MNOs, and they can extend their services beyond their own territory. So they can offer a global solution, a global connectivity solution for enterprises and service providers. Our spread today is globally. Okay, so we provide coverage in 200 plus minus countries with close to 600 networks, which means you can go all around the world. You can connect to 600 networks without changing anything on your SIM card. How do we do that? We have our own technology for the SIM management. On one SIM, we can have multiple IMSIs. Okay, so we can have one IMSI which is global, another IMSI which is fantastic for APAC. So the global one will give you coverage, the one for APAC will give you better price. The change between a global SIM to a global IMSI to a local IMSI can be done automatically based on the rules that you are setting. No human intervention is needed. That's the beauty of it. Okay, so once you've selected about your mode of operation, you order the SIM cards from floLIVE, that's it. You just run. Okay, now the customers that we approach. I mentioned on one hand, we have the mobile network operators who are our customers and partners. Second ones are the IoT service providers, those that focus on IoT and provide the service to enterprises. And the third ones are enterprises like you have mentioned that, hey, we have a challenge, come to floLIVE, solve our challenge. We usually deal with the more challenging ones because they take us to the edge and allow us to feel the pains or the needs of our end users. Okay, now with a Rider Dome solution, we make sure that in every country, the SIM card will be covered by at least 2 networks, sometimes even 3, because it's crucial for you to transfer data, to transfer video, make sure it happens, that he has the location in real time, not to lose the connection from the network. Okay, so the real time is really crucial and connectivity is crucial, and that's why our solution comes together to support Rider Dome. Now let's move to the next slide. Okay, to summarize what we have discussed. Okay, so we provide a global solution with localized localization or hyperlocal network to ensure the coverage, 2 or 3 networks at least in each country, high performance, low latency, resilience. In case you lose coverage from one network, you immediately jump to another one. We are compliant. We make sure that that we can comply with GDPR for Europe, with the safety and privacy and regulation in the US, with permanent or restricted roaming in, let's say, countries like Turkey or Brazil, wherever there are permanent roaming restrictions. We are also local and provide solutions in those countries. And about the rates, you mentioned about the complexity of dealing with the local operators. We have solved that because we deal with the rates. Our rates are open. Every customer has the rate sheet, and they see exactly what are they paying for. And by the way, from us, with us, they only pay for active IMSI. Okay, so you don't use, you don't pay. This is the kind of partnership that we lead with our partners. And if you use, you just pay per megabyte. You don't have to commit for a huge volume. We start small and grow together. Next one, please. All right. Now over to you. You have to see how this all comes together into the joint solution of floLIVE and Rider Dome.
Sure. So let's see basically how floLIVE helped us overcome those challenges. So, for example, one of the challenges that we had was a logistics challenge. As I mentioned, we do not want actually to have several SQs. It's complicated for us to sign different agreements. Now, this logistics issue was solved. One supplier, that's it. The other international coverage, and I would like to tell you a story. We ran a pilot in Malaysia with a company Grab. It's a very big fleet. Whoever is not familiar with Asia, it's one of the largest fleets in the world. Now, the system was installed there, sending information to the Malaysia Telco. We had to move this system to show a demo in Singapore. So the same system moved to Singapore. We connected, and like magic, it was connected to the Singaporean telecom, and we had connectivity. The same system, a week after, was sent to Israel for testing. Again, we connected it immediately like magic. It gave us data with Israeli connectivity. And a few days ago, it was sent to Norton, to a very cool motorcycle manufacturer in UK. It was installed, and hey, like magic again, we had connectivity with the British Telecom. Now imagine yourself the headache that our company would have if we did not have one SIM that can cover all the world. Not only a headache, but also a financial burden on those pilots. So this is where floLIVE gave us a lot of value. Advanced data management allow us, as we mentioned in the past, to understand the exact consumption per bike, per fleet, per country, etc. This is great because now also we can actually create some kind of boundaries to the customers, that they will not keep on downloading videos from the motorcycle all day long, which will consume unnecessary data. This is an example. Or it helped us also to create, again, a smart business model to tell them, okay, part of the package, you can consume X amount of megabytes. Above it, basically, you need to cover it. We could not do it without the management system of floLIVE. The business model enabler is exactly what I said. This allowed us to create this business model of charging per usage, which without having this information, it was for us just a guessing game. Let's guess how much this fleet will consume. And last is quality. We can sleep quite good at night, that we know that the system basically, the systems are connected wherever they are. One of the advantages of floLIVE that they can actually move from operator to operator, as also the biker roam within the countries itself. And as you know, in a lot of countries, there is significant difference in coverage between even cities or different roads. With a flexible system such as floLIVE, basically, we always have good coverage of all bikers regardless where they are. And multiple network, I think you got it already. Work everywhere, every time. Over to you, Chen.
All right, thank you. Just before we jump into Q&A, I wanted to mention that we will be participating in the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona by the end of February. And if you happen to come over, we'll be happy to host you and check about and learn about your needs. And so feel free to reach out to us, and we'll set up a meeting. And also, if you want to have an online session with us beforehand or afterwards, of course, we are here to have a chat. Now, how do we look on the Q&A, Ronnie? Do we have any good questions?
Yes, we have quite a few questions here from everybody. So thank you very much for that, Chen and Yoav. I'm Ronnie Cohen, so I'm just here to do some Q&A and I'll help moderate some of the questions. So we've got a few questions here today. So firstly to Yoav about the APIs. So some questions here about are you using APIs for the connectivity towards flow?
So we are not using API. We're using basically a direct communication that we are sending from the bike to floLIVE system. And then we go through the floLIVE platform to see and analyze all the data.
Okay. And we have some questions here about latency and connectivity around this sort of product, which is real time. So question to floLIVE here is about our latency in Asia and in Europe and in the US. So how do we deal with that? So Chen, I think if you want to answer that.
Yeah, sure. The beauty of our solution is that we can control the latency to a large extent. How? Whenever there is a need, we install a packet gateway in the country. Okay, so today, as we mentioned, we have about 40 packet gateways, and we can route the data to the closest packet gateway. Okay, so today we have packet gateways all around. If we want, we add another one. We are now going to install a new packet gateway in Singapore. We have packet gateways all across Europe. We have one in South Africa. We have multiple ones in North America, and now extending into Latin America. So it's and of course we have additional ones across Asia, in China, Hong Kong. So the way that we operate in, let's say, opposed to a roaming IMSI, where they route the data back to the home country, we are routing the data to the closest packet gateway, which is our packet gateway. And if there is a need to increase the packet gateway, let's say reduce the latency, we can add another packet gateway. An interesting application that we have related to latency is with drones that use video, and they need less than 100 milliseconds of latency to operate. That's very challenging, especially if you work in territories like the US or across Europe. 100 milliseconds is almost nothing. We work together to find the right solution for them, okay? And that's the beauty of working together with us. You have latency demands, let's work on them together, hopefully, and most probably we find a solution for the latency. For connectivity, real-time connectivity, okay, I think that was the more challenging aspect for RiderDome, to get the actual location of the motorbike. And sometimes you might lose connectivity either because there is no coverage or because the SIM will be handing over from one network to another network. Okay, so there is no way that you will have 100% connectivity all the time, but at least we want to minimize the time where we lack connectivity. Okay, so I think that's what RiderDome has achieved with us, but it still does not give them 100%. So sometimes they will lose connectivity for a few seconds, up to half a minute. Okay, it happens. But then your team resolved that in a nice way.
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to elaborate how they extrapolated on the device location? What did they do?
Yeah, for example, we understood that if there is a lack of connectivity, what we use is the last place that the motorcycle was seen, and we continue we continue from there, while we take the perceived average speed. So, for example, if the bike is located in a certain position, then we lose connectivity for 10 seconds, which is not a big issue for us. But we assume that in 10 seconds, the bike will run about 30 kilometers per hour. So we can assume where will be his next step. So overall, connectivity is important, but as you can see, there are all kind of ways to overcome in case connectivity is lost for a short time.
Thank you very much for that. So we've got a number of other questions. What's the score of the expected monthly data usage per unit? Maybe if you can give a little bit of a.
For our case, it's
yes.
So for our case, it's about megabyte. No, actually, I don't want to give kind of false information. I'll give you an overall information. The information that we are sending, and I don't want to go to exact the amount of megabyte. I don't want to make a mistake here, but what we are sending is 2 layers of information. One is a telematic information. It's quite small packets. It's the location, the speed, etc. The other is related to video and images. This is a bit of heavier packages.
Right.
But what we did is that the videos are being sent per demand. So for example, if you're a fleet owner, you don't need all the videos of the bike, but in every given moment you can say, I want the video of Joseph was riding yesterday between 1 to 1:30. Why? Because there was an accident, there was a complaint, there was an issue I want to see.
Right. So it sort of fluctuates.
Exactly. And then
depending on the incidents.
Exactly. So the video is sent per demand. And this allows us actually to manage the amount of data in a smart way.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. So I don't know how long we've got, but a couple of more questions that we've got here. Questions about real-time data processing. Is it cloud-based? since we said that it is a global SIM card or global coverage. So I think maybe I'll touch on that. What Chen was mentioning before was that we have local packet gateways in many places in the world. I think, if I'm not mistaken, over 60 locations around the world where we have packet gateways. So when your questions about real-time data processing, the answer is yes, it is real-time in the sense that the data is always delivered through the local packet gateway. So the closest packet gateway, the closest exit to the internet from the device. That means that we're always sort of processing the data with the lowest latency. And when we talk about a global SIM or global coverage, what we're actually saying is that this isn't roaming. This isn't roaming around the world and the data isn't transversing around the world. You know, if you're in Australia, it's not going back. If you had a US global SIM with roaming, it'll always go back to the US and then go out to the internet, and hence where you get this long delays. But we don't do that. And that's, so perhaps I'd sort of touch on that for a second. floLIVE has one of the largest telecom cellular infrastructures in the world, with more core networks and packet gateways than any other infrastructure out there. And hence why we're getting these low latency solutions and it's built for a high performance network. There's another one here. Will RiderDome solutions be available to floLIVE resellers providing direct connectivity? Well, we don't particularly sell RiderDome solutions, but you can always contact us, and I'm sure we could put you in touch with RiderDome. So yeah, feel free to contact us with the details here at the end of this presentation, and we'll put you in touch. And I think we have one more question about EU-ICC. Chen, if you would like to sort of give a background, do we support EU-ICC? I think...
the answer is yes, we support EU-ICC. We support the EU-ICC in all form factors. EU-ICC for travelers, but also EU-ICC for utilities. And the beauty of our support of EU-ICC is that in the EU-ICC we can have different SIMs, and each one of them we can have multiple profiles. So moving between different profiles, like RiderDome is doing, does not require any change within the EU-ICC. We don't need to move from SIM 1 to SIM 2 to SIM 3. We can do that within a single SIM. However, if we want to do that, for example, for countries where it's regulated, okay, like in Turkey, we have to move to a local network operator, we have to move to a local RSP, then we have that one as well. So that's working both in Turkey and Brazil, and we will do that wherever there is a permanent roaming restriction, we do that. Now, beyond that, okay, our commitment as a company working with the EU-ICC is that if a customer decides at one point in time that he wants to move to another service provider, which is not floLIVE, we will support it. We agree to that. It's part of every proposal that there is no SIM lock with us. And we are obliged to support our customers to move away if that's what they wish for. So that's part of our commitment.
Thank you. Couple of questions here about sub-Saharan Africa coverage. So how is our coverage there? I think Chen is best to answer that as he works.
Yeah, it sounds like an invited question.
Yes.
Yeah, because today we feel very comfortable with our sub-Saharan African coverage. We are now beating the competition, okay, replacing one after the other because our coverage is better. How do we reach that? Because of our multi-IMSI solution. We are not relying only on one IMSI because there is no one IMSI that can provide solution across sub-Saharan Africa. There are good ones like Telecom Italia, they provide, but it's not enough. There are other global ones like Telefonica, not enough. There are local ones, which are also our partner, like MTN. MTN with a global, MTN is our customer, and we are local with every MTN network, but it's still not enough. The only solution that works in Africa is the combination of 3 different IMSIs on one SIM card, like MTN, Telecom Italia, O2 Telefonica, all together on the same SIM cards. And you know that, okay? I'm sure that the one who asked the question, you know that coverage is not enough, because in some cases you can have coverage, but the price would be outrageous, right? You can reach, in some countries, price per gigabyte is over $1,000. So really crazy. So the ability to select which country or which network you use in each country in order not only to optimize coverage, but also to optimize your cost is available with floLIVE. So just imagine, why is it important? I'm not sure that everybody understands, but if you look at Southern Africa and you have a mine somewhere in the north of DRC, and that truck goes all the way down to Durban, then it moves in between different countries, different networks, and it must maintain connectivity because it might have very expensive ore, which it's carrying. So that's where we really excel.
Yeah, that's I think that's really important for anybody who's building a solution. So if you have a solution, or if you have a requirement, always think about that. If you have an asset that's moving, always think about that fact that you don't want to be stuck when the device is suddenly outside of switching networks between countries. I think it was a fantastic webinar, a little bit different than what we're used to. I think RiderDome is a very interesting product. And Chen, thank you very much for your insight into the product and the connectivity. I think we could wrap it up today, but also I'd like to say, please contact us. You have the emails on the screen for floLIVE, for RiderDome. And yeah, don't hesitate to contact us. If you're at Mobile World Congress, do drop by our at Hall 2. And I'm sure the details of where we are will be advertised very shortly on LinkedIn and on our website. I guess we could wrap it up if you would like to say something, final words from your side.
Just a thank you, Yoav, thank you, Moni.
Okay.
Thank you everyone who joined us today.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity. And again, feel free to reach out if you feel that our solution can bring value to you or in your country. Don't hesitate.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And have a fantastic rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye.